Knight, the classified employees of the Merced Union High School District, want district trustees to know that they want a new contract.
We actually had some issues with the district office regarding health care.
Our out-of-pocket expense for insurance was rising at an alarming rate, and our cap wasn't.
We were paying out of pocket. The teachers didn't pay out of pocket.
I mean, it was really hurting some people. We had people that were actually saying they were going to have to go on assistance because their whole check was going to health insurance. And it was mandatory for everybody to pay for health insurance. You could not opt out.
And I didn't see any change coming because the district, just kept double talking us.
And I was really discouraged when you attended these meetings to be told by your negotiating team that we can't tell you that information.
They wouldn't listen to us. We were getting nowhere. And I became very frustrated. I started going to the meetings at that point.
A normal meeting for us on a normal everyday month would be 20.
There was hardly any people that would come to the union chapter meetings simply because they were told they couldn't talk about what was happening during negotiations and behind closed doors.
I remember at one time somebody saying that the superintendent had said that we were a dime a dozen.
I was angry, and I'd get up and I'd be angry about it. And then we had a change in our union president.
We became more open. Gloria Colomb became our president of our e-board, and that's when our chapter, I feel, bloomed.
At one point, it became, what are we going to do about this? No one really had an answer.
They finally got to the point where we can't take it anymore. We
had a couple of local groups that were really getting real hot that would look like they were going to go towards strike more than anything else.
I said, if I can give you a percentage of how many of the classified would be willing to do something, to make a point, to make a statement, would you support it? And she said, give me the numbers and I'll support it if it's a good number.
So once we became organized and the information started flowing, our members started to get fired up.
Power is in numbers. I mean, you can't do something by yourself. Somebody has to get it started, you have to communicate, and you got to keep that communication going.
My main concern was getting information to people, letting them know what was happening. If they want to decide to, whatever they wanted to decide, they had the facts.
We developed a phone tree to keep in communications. At the same time, the technology was coming into the school, so we were using the computers for emailing back and forth.
Everyone wanted to be a part of their union. Everybody wanted to know what was going on, and they were given the information via newsletter, email, telephone conversations, your next door neighbors, at work.
And they finally got to the point where we can't take it anymore.
Only 7 out of 65 classified workers showed up for work today here at Merced High School. None of the kitchen staff showed up, and that was pretty much the case at all 6 schools within the district. As you can imagine, this had school administrators scrambling to try to find a way to feed all these students.
There was just a lot of unhappy people. And this particular day, they just felt that they couldn't do another day, that they just didn't know what to do. I think it was desperation.
Merced High School principal Tom Scheit had to figure out a way to feed 2,500 students when his entire kitchen staff missed work today.
We do appreciate what they've done and what they do on a day-to-day basis.
We had a big event, and headquarters found out what we were doing. They were there.
Well, my first involvement with Merced actually happened the morning that the phone calls came into the field office regarding the sickout. That the workers had decided on their own to do a sickout, and the first we knew of it is when the school district was calling wanting to know where their workers were.
And it made the administrators sit up and say, these people are serious. Look what they're doing.
Those who normally sit behind desks spent the morning preparing food for students at the campuses in the Merced Union High School District. The majority of the campus cafeteria staff called in sick today. Principals, teachers, and parents combined forces to prepare meals for some 10,000 kids.
And once the classified members saw that, they knew that they had power. And they loved it. They were ready.
Pretty soon, everybody's little brains were just clicking on different ideas and things. He would say, let's try this. And we had Steve's arrow that tells you how to organize.
You have the arrow. the escalation arrow. And if you look at the escalation arrow, the very first thing down at the bottom is like, you know, wearing the same color shirts on the same day at work, or wearing buttons to work.
They came in and said, hey, this is the chart, and this is where you are, and this is where you should be. And we kind of backed up.
And we started with little things. We had a postcard campaign. We had every member sign a postcard, maybe put a little note on it, and we mailed them all to our board members.
I would be up front with the chart paper and the marker pens, and we would be, you know, brainstorming, and I'd be writing as fast as I could to try to keep up with them on the chart, really helping guide them along.
When do you want it? Now! What do you want? Contract!
Labor disputes have become all too common at Valley school districts, but the sticking point on this one isn't money, it's health care benefits. In the past,
one of our biggest kickoffs probably would be a march that we did at Merced High School on one of the busiest streets at 5 o'clock traffic.
It was awesome. It was so cool to see that we were all there for the same exact thing. Let them know, hey, this is important to us, and we're not going to go away. We're going to sit here and we're going to fight.
We had at least 100 people show up to this event, and the event started off with us doing the march out on G Street in Merced, and then after that we went into CSEA chapter meeting. And the energy level was just as amazing in there. I mean, they were pumped. And I think a lot of it had to do with the community support that we received and the sheer numbers of it all.
We have our executive board, and we also have people sitting on the negotiations team. And on that negotiations team, I made sure there was 2 or 3 people that were on the executive board. So we had 2 people plus myself as the president, which has never happened in the past.
In the past, sometimes negotiations were more like little secret things. They couldn't discuss what happened, and it always would be very upsetting. Well, what do you mean you can't discuss it? You're talking about our salary, our benefits and jobs, and you can't discuss it with us.
I had no clue what was involved in negotiations. When I went in, I was pretty green.
If you don't have your facts together and do the research, you're not credible when you are starting a negotiation process to know where the district is. Budgeting, what is your membership?
This chapter was able to analyze the budget. They were able to figure out that there was money in the budget to cover the salary cap increase that they needed.
Bob Johnson got involved, and he is so energized. The whole field office was energized.
We had so much support. They were there. They would come and show up at the board meetings. They were there for us.
And we focused all of our demonstrations around board meetings, before, during, after, the next day.
I enjoyed watching all the ideas people were coming up with, and we took what could have been violent and bad things and made them constructive, still doing something.
We felt it would be more effective if we didn't do mean things or, you know, attack them in any way, just quietly or loudly demonstrate.
One of our brainstorming sessions, the meeting occurred in December.
And we felt like the board members were Scrooges.
And we were the children receiving coal in our stockings.
We decided to do a candlelight vigil. It happened to be around Christmas time. They didn't want to give us anything, and so somebody said, you know what, coal, you know, like the Scrooge, and we got coal.
The school board was meeting in closed session in a classroom, which was down a walkway from the room where they were going to hold the public meeting. The members lined both sides of that walkway from the classroom door to the door of the meeting room.
We held candles. When they came out of their one room to walk into the next room for the meeting, they had to walk through us, literally walk through these people that are standing there not saying a word.
It was just so emotional because it was quiet. Nobody said one word.
They had to walk down that walkway lined by members holding their candles, wearing a sign that said, "We deserve more than coal," and holding a piece of coal in one hand.
One female board member sidestepped us and chose to use the restroom, which happened to be right across from where their meeting room was.
Well, one of our folks noticed this and stopped everybody, said, "No, wait, don't go in yet, don't put your candles out." So they rearranged the line, so it then went from the bathroom door to the meeting room.
She was a little surprised to come out of the restroom and find all of these people, and needless to say, she was probably a little embarrassed as well.
There was a shifting of power at that moment. Who had the power and who didn't, you know? And that was a very defining moment.
It was neat. All of us together huddled up with our candles and our coal.
Not only did they do the candlelight vigil outside, wearing the signs and holding the coal, but they went inside the board meeting.
A few of us spoke, and then on our way out of the boardroom, we took our lump of coal and dropped it in a bucket.
And it went clunk, 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 and the board stopped doing business.
One of the board members afterwards said this was the worst feeling that she had had in all her years of being a school board member.
When we made these choices and we brainstormed and we thought of these things, not to be hateful or deceitful or angry, just to let them know we're here, just to let them know we're people, and that we want the same things they want for them and their families. I think they finally realized we're not going to go away.
All groups of people can unite. They can do a lot of things.
I think that for me, the biggest highlight was to see the members of this chapter get involved in controlling their own destiny, to stand up for their rights, not be afraid.
I feel better also because I don't feel like they are looking at me as a dime a dozen anymore.
And we've gained their respect. They know what we're capable of.
And that comes as a direct result of our contact with board members, calling them individually, sending them the letters, attending and addressing at board meetings what our concerns are.
We persevered. We just stayed in there and fought the battle.
The best part about it is what we all went through and how we accomplished what we got by sticking together and prevailing and knowing what was right and what we had to stand for. People are stronger now. They believe in their union, they believe in unity, and they believe in themselves more so than ever before. And they're ready to commit more so now because they know, hey, this is my union too, and I want to be a part of it.